Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Atul. Good morning, Heli. Good morning, Dhruv. Am I audible? If yes, yeah. All right. Good morning, Riddhi. Yeah, Heli, IPR.
Your turn.
Not distance, SBS.
તમારો છે
Maybe 11:30 હશે.
એટલે મેં બિસાડા એટલે બોલવાનું છે પછી આમાં માઇલ જફરી છે બેઠા બેઠા.
Munindra sir, your voice is audible. Oh, Kishan Makadia was there. All right. So only today I got 4 students, only 4 students. Atul, Heli, Riddhi, Dhruv. Waiting for some more students and then we'll start. Ritvik Makwana, good morning. Sheena, good morning. Sheena, is this your first webinar for cybersecurity? All right. All right. So let me wait for 2 more minutes. Anjali Kumari recently joined. Riddhi Lakhani, Rutvik, Sheena, Yatri Patel is there, and Dhruv Savalia. All right, so good morning, everybody. Let's begin with some more uh, topics in this Unit 5, which is based on cyber ethics and laws and IT Act 2000. All right, so if you find any queries or questions, just write in your chat box so that I can get, and I'll try to give answer. Right. All right. So last time in PPT, I put 67B. I made some mistake. So please note it down, 67A and B. What is the difference between 67A and B? Let me know. What is the difference between 67A and B? 67A is a sexually explicit act. Yeah. So overall, if you are spreading something regarding sexually, right? So, or I mean, publishing on transmitting, that is 67A over the internet. But if it is related with child pornography, right? So that is a 67B, and make sure it's bailable or non-bailable. So this offense is non-bailable. Offense is non-bailable, and I already discussed what is cognizable and non-cognizable. Cognizable means it is investigating, right? And triable by court, GMFC. So I already discussed what is GMFC. Court of GMFC means judicial magistrate of first class. It is district and state level. But the last we have discussed 66F, that is conducted in court of sessions. Make sure non-bailable, here imprisonment for the lifetime. And one more thing, if your crime is very higher, then hang till death, फांसी की सजा भी होती है इसमें, right? So okay, so let's move ahead with the final one. I already discussed this. Take this as a homework. So hopefully you already gone through with this. Very easy, right? It comes under offenses. So I would like to ask one more question. If we consider chapter number 11 under IT Act, see, this is chapter number 11 under IT Act, offenses, chapter number 11 under IT Act. So it starts from this 65, and 65 to what of sections comes under chapter number 11? Do you know? 65 से लेके कौन सा लास्ट है जो चैप्टर नंबर 11 के अंदर आता है, जिसको हम बोलेंगे ऑफेंसेस? So if you are really interested, then go through with it. Any guess? We started with 65, that comes under chapter number 11. But chapter number 11 में 65 से कौन सा नंबर के सेक्शन तक का बताया गया है? No guess? 65 to 79 sections comes under chapter number 11. Please make sure. So उसमें से हमने basics जो काम का था वो किया, right? We have done so far. But if you are really interested with this one, just read from which I shared one document, right? You just read from that. Okay. Okay. Now, so let me start today's session. For today's session, so far we have covered these offenses, CA, e-governance, e-commerce, introduction and cyber laws. Now the very important thing again, that is IPR under cyberspace, IPR in cyberspace. Now, what do you mean by IPR? So before starting IPR, that is intellectual property rights, right? So IPR की बात बहुत सारे लोग करते हैं, but we are going to relate in the context of cyberspace. But first we will see what is a common term, that is IPR, intellectual property rights. So before that, let me give definition of property. What is property then? What is property? So property is any tangible, see the keyword, any tangible or intangible, tangible and intangible physical item, design, right, creativity or concept that is owned. So these three are very important terms. So what do you mean by tangible and intangible? Tangible, intangible किसी को पता है? So I can say property definition, or I can say property is divided into two main parts, that is a tangible property and intangible property. And we will focus for the intangible property. Why intangible we will learn? You can identify, see, we will see some definitions of it. So modern concept of ownership, if you talk about your property, so your property would be like tangible and intangible, right? So let me show you what is tangible. Tangible property are physical and measurable, physical and measurable assets that are used in a company's operations. Assets like property, plant, equipment are tangible assets. In the, see, for this the key point is, if you can touch your property, touch, and if you can feel, if you can touch, you can feel its physicality, and if you can measure, that is a tangible property. So आपका own house है, your bike, your car, your equipment, your laptop, that is a tangible property that you can touch, you can feel, right? Is it clear so far? So what kind of examples we can say in tangible property? Land, vehicles, equipments, machinery, furniture, inventory, securities. So many things comes under tangible thing, right? Security means stocks also, but nowadays we are performing stocks in a digitally, but before they were like paper. Okay, before they were like paper. Bonds also, let's say some LIC policies and all, that you can touch because that is a hard copy, right? Some cash, that is also your property in a physical form, right? So that is a kind of tangible property. Are you with me, guys? Is it clear so far? Intangible property. Intangible property means you cannot touch, Keyword is you cannot touch. See, intangible property are typically non-physical asset used over a long term. Let's say intangible property are often intellectual assets, and as a result, it's difficult to assign a value. So in last slides, we have seen this keyword. See, physical, measurable, right? Physical, measurable, and touch. In intangible, that is not a physical, not physical. You cannot find their measures, so it is not a measurable also, right? And you cannot touch. You cannot touch also. So that kind of property is known as an intangible property. So there are two types of property, tangible and intangible. Why do we need intellectual property rights? To secure our intangible property, guys. Why do we need intellectual property rights in cyberspace? To secure intangible properties. Like how we can secure? By applying patents, trademarks, copyrights. Okay, number of things are there, but basically in cyberspace we will focus on patents, trademarks, and copyrights, right? So we will see one by one. So two definitions clear. All right, so let me go ahead. So the definition of intellectual property, as I said, to secure intangible assets or properties. So intangible assets are which form part of intellectual property, i.e. copyright, trademarks, patents are a very integral part of a digital medium, right? So the key point is to secure intangible assets or property. We need intellectual property rights. How we can secure those intangible assets? By applying copyrights, trademarks, and patents, guys. The ease and convenience of use offered by the digital medium is more or loss, inconvenience, its owner, right? So IPR protects against the same. Okay. In this definition, you can see number of keywords. Let me ask one questions. To protect intangible assets, right? We need intellectual property rights. But what kind of things that we can secure through IPR, guys? What kind of thing that we can secure through IPR? Let's consider example of cyberspace. Anything can you share here? First of all, let me know what are the example of intangible assets in cyberspace. What are the examples of intangible assets in cyberspace? Are you active or not, guys? Anjali Kumari is not attentive. Dhruv Savalia went offline. Sheena Bansal is went offline. Yeah, Anjali Kumari is saying patent, trademark. No, patent, trademark, and copyrights, those are the techniques to protect intangible assets. I am asking in cyberspace, what kind of examples that you can put in intangible assets? What do you think in intangible property in cyberspace? What are the things things that you can put in yeah, Anjali Kumari is, yeah, Anjali, any questions? Trademark, huh? It's getting boring, sir. It's all about theory. Okay, Atul. But we should cover these also. Anyways, we will see some practicals also in next session, but we should cover these also. So you can put your suggestions or idea. No idea about examples. See, your research paper is the best example. If you write your research paper, that is your property, right? How would you secure that research paper? By applying copyrights, right? If you are having company and you are going to create your logo, that logo, that is your property, so you should put in trademark, or you should register that logo also. So these kind of things are uh, uh, we can say intangible assets from your end. See, Airtel is having their own logo, right? Vodafone is having their own logo, so you cannot use their logo for your company purpose, right? Amul is having their own logo. You cannot use their logo because that is registered or trademark. So the summary is that kind of intangible assets you can put. If you write any chapter in any book, that also you can put copyright. Have you ever seen in book, in first even in first page you can find copyrighted, right? In some blogs you can find copyrighted, you cannot copy, right? Some movies we can say that is copyrighted, some ideas of advertisement that is also copyrighted. See the Flipkart advertisement, do you know Flipkart advertisement? They are using childrens are acting for them, right? So that is unique idea. Now childrens are acting for Flipkarts, that is unique idea. Do you know Vodafone advertisement? That pug dog itself acting for a Vodafone advertisement, right? So that is a unique idea that you can register. Okay, so if you find anything unique in your mind, that you can register actually. Not only invention. If you think some uniquely, then you can register, right? See, government of India has initiated to fight against corona, right? And maybe you have found some advertisement for it. Okay, you can participate and you can contribute to fight against corona, right? If you are having some unique idea, you can register. So that is your asset because you thought like this. Okay, now nobody can take your ideas, and that is the objective to learn these intellectual property rights. Okay, so I want to say that maybe it's quite boring, but see, the people of India, they they doesn't know how to protect their ideas, how to protect their own assets, which is in digital format, right? So you should understand this thing. I'll give some more examples also. All right, now it's clear about examples, Anjali? Okay, so yeah, so intellectual property IP refers to creations of the mind. See, creations, inventions, then you can see literary and artistic work also, symbols, name, image, and design used in commerce that you can put in intellectual property. Okay, so next, how you would protect intellectual property? By patents, design, trademarks, copyrights, and geographical indications. We will focus on patents, trademarks, and copyright. If time allows, then I'll show you what is geographical indications also. Now, trademark. A trademark is popularly known as a brand name. As I said, Vodafone. Now you can imagine there, you can understand by their own logo. No need to write this is Vodafone company. Okay. If you see the logo of Vodafone, you can understand this is Vodafone. If you see the symbol of Airtel, you can understand Airtel also. Best example, if you see the logo of Marwadi University, you can understand this is from the Marwadi Rajkot, right? So that is the trademark. So in trademark, you can see the trademark TM and register. Now, when you get TM and when you get R, so I would say, see, these all are the trademark, popular trademark. Now you can understand, see, this is a GTU, this is a AICTE, right? See, now by simply putting logo also, you can understand, see, this is the SBI, right? This is Amul, Facebook, Apple, Mercedes. Can you find name here? No, because these are the popular trademark. Now, as I said, when you can put TM and when you can put R, so there is some proper process to register your logo. Once you get registered in your logo, after some time, before getting registration certificate, you can put your logo as a TM. It means जब भी आप एक एप्लीकेशन करते हो रजिस्टर करने के लिए आपका लोगो, वो थोड़ा लंबा प्रोसेस है. मीनवाइल आपको ऐसा बोला जाता है कि आपका जब तक रजिस्टर्ड सर्टिफिकेट नहीं आता, यू कैन पुट एज ए टीएम ओनली. सो टीएम का मतलब ये होता है कि वी put or we raised registration application, okay, registration application, but it is in the process. So trademark का मतलब ऐसा होता है. And once you get final certificate of your logo registration, then you can get this kind of R. You can put R. Is it clear? So there is a difference between TM and R. So trademark you can register, but registration process is a kind of bit lengthy, so it will take time consuming. So meanwhile you can put TM. So these are the process of registrations. You can put TM, see, unregistered trademark, that is a mark used to promote or brand, right? So बहुत सारी कंपनी में आपने ऐसा TM देखा होगा. Then SM is a service mark, right? Service mark used to promote or brand services. And for a registered trademark, final, if you get your registered certification, then you can put R here. So these are the process, right? So keep in mind for your exam purpose also. Then very important, if you put yourself for a trademark registration, right? So validity period is 10 years. Validity period is 10 years. After 10 years, you have to renew your trademarks, right? So registered trademark comes with a validity period of 10, after which it needs to be renewed. सो ऐसा नहीं कि एक बार ट्रेडमार्क रजिस्टर कर दिया तो लाइफ टाइम चलेगा. यू शुड टेक केयर ऑफ योर ट्रेडमार्क्स. आफ्टर 10 years you have to renew it. Okay. Now बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स आते हैं. See why I'm talking about, why I'm taking this lecture for IPR purpose, especially number of startups are coming right now, right, from the students and also from the young ones and also from I mean young generations from, right? So they don't know how to apply for the trademarks. So I can say trademark is a totally online process right now, and registry headquarters are at Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad and Chennai. So make sure for trademark, if you want to visit this kind of office, then you can visit it also. So very important slide here, huh? See, for patent office, Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai, there is no interaction at Ahmedabad itself from the Gujarat end. Okay. And for patent information services, that is Nagpur. All right. Now, what is copyright then? Copyright is denoted by C, copyright, or you can say all rights reserved to the owner. All right reserved to the owner. Copyright is a I mean, a right given to creators or literary, dramatically, musical, and artistic work, and producers or cinematographers, film and sound recording to the decide on its use, right? So if you prepare your own research paper or your own innovations, if you are having blogs also, if you are having your website, I'm saying in a digital form, okay? So if you are having any social media in terms of digital world, right, you should put copyright here, right? So you should register yourself as a copyright. In copyright, there are various things. You can sell your copyright to other one, right? So let's say if your research paper is there that is copyrighted by you, but if you want to sell your copyrights to them, then you can sell also. So what kind of works that protected under copyright, that you can see here. Is it clear, forum? Yatri, any questions so far? See, this is again very interesting thing, but I'm expecting some questions from your end. Okay, so validity period of copyright. In the case of original literary or these all things, the author or artist and 60 years of counted from the years following the date of the author. So we can say 60 years you can put in your ownership in the copyright. Right. Okay. So it varies according to the nature of work. So what kind of thing that you want to copyright? So maximum 60 years they are giving validity, right? And these all are steps you can put in copyright form, right? In the case of photographs, cinematograph, films, and sound recording, the term is 60 years from the date of publications. Once you get published, after publications, there is a 60 years of validity, right? When the first owner of copyright is the government or a public undertaking, the term of copyright is 60 years from the date of publications. And it depends on seller. मतलब आप दूसरा copyright आपको किसी के पास से आपने copyright लिया है, so उसके बाद फिर it will differ जो copyright का term है वो. 60 years. हाँ, Vaishwari is asking, is 60 years maximum time period? Yes. 60 year is maximum time period. And it depends on nature of your innovations. See, research is different thing and innovation is different thing, huh? Research is something like whatever you are doing in सर्चेबल थिंग, जो ऑलरेडी सर्च हो गया है उसके ऊपर आप रिसर्च कर रहे हो, राइट? बट इनोवेशन इज समथिंग लाइक दैट इज योर ओन इनोवेशंस, जो दुनिया में पहली बार आता है. So that kind of innovation you can put in a patent, right? Give me a 2 minutes. Yes, it is also renewed like the trademark. Yes, Rutvik, it is also renewed. You can put. You should prove that is your, I mean, that is your research, and you can put in. You can renew also. All right, keep quickly move ahead with this. Am I answered your question, Rutvik? Am I audible? Okay. Thanks for your confirmation, Rutvik. Okay, then patents. Patents in focus mainly because of its direct impact on industry and economic knowledge industries. So patent, as I said, uh, if you do some invention which is new to the world, okay, which is new to the world, non-obvious and industrial applicable, so that you can put your thing for the patent, right? Make sure patent तभी आएगा जो innovative होगा. See, I already discussed what is the difference between innovation and research. Research is nothing but you are doing something on searchable thing जो already search हो चुका है. But what do you mean by uh, innovations? Innovation is a new non-obvious thing, right? So for that you can register or you can file patent over there. Now whatever I'm going to say, the key point, please keep in mind, in India, in government of India, softwares are not patented. So if you create anything in software, that is not patented, guys, please keep in mind. We are following European standard. अंग्रेज जो आए थे, so अंग्रेज सब छोड़ के गए, so we are following UK terms, right? So we are not filing patents for software, but yes, you can file patents for software plus hardware combinations, right? Or purely hardware thing. See, I want to share something. China is having a huge amount of patent in the world. I can say more than 65 or 70% patents are coming from the China. And the best example I can say, वो लोग है ना छोटी छोटी चीज में हार्डवेयर बना देते, लेट्स से मॉस्किटोज रैकेट, राइट? मॉस्किटो मारने का रैकेट कभी किसी ने सोचा नहीं होगा, उन्होंने बना के अभी चाइना वो लोग सेल कर रहे। सी हाउ टू कट ऑनियन, राइट? How to bring out a yolk and protein part from the egg. So some machines are available. So these small things you can put as a patent, right? But you should have a design idea. I repeat, if in if you are going through with a software in India, you cannot put your patent in India. But in USA, they are allowing software as a patent, राइट? बट इंडिया में पेटेंट के लिए सॉफ्टवेयर अलाउड नहीं है। बट इफ यू क्रिएट समथिंग, लेट्स से आपने कुछ ऐसा कैमरास बनाया, सो क्या ऑब्वियसली कैमरास के अंदर सॉफ्टवेयर तो होगा ही होगा, उसका खुद का कुछ ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम होगा, एंड विच इज डिटेक्टिंग समथिंग मलिशियस थिंग और सम ऑफेंसेस, राइट? So that kind of thing you can put if your cameras is enabled within artificial intelligence or machine learning, that also you can put, right? So software plus hardware combination you can put. I'm getting one question, can we file patent in US? Yes, Haley, you can file patents in US, but there are some government rules within India, within the world. See, आप जो भी पेटेंट करते हो इन इंडिया, ठीक है, वो विद इन इंडियन रीजन होगा। Some patents norms are there for worldwide also. If you file patent for worldwide, then वर्ल्ड में से कोई भी कंट्री आपकी आइडिया की चोरी नहीं कर सकता। एक बेस्ट एग्जांपल दैट आई केम टू नो फॉर राजकोट, राइट? राजकोट में एक फैमिली है जो बड़े बड़े मशीनरी, आई मीन मोटर्स, जनरेटर्स, दे आर क्रिएटिंग, राइट? engines, I can say engines in Rajkot. I came to know that person. They gave some presentation at Germany, right? They demonstrated their product at Germany, right? But without filing or without registered they patent, I mean sorry, trademark or patent, they went at Germany and they demonstrated their own products. अब क्या हुआ कि जर्मनी ने उनके वो प्रोडक्ट्स का पूरा सेम टू सेम वर्जन लेके अपनी प्रोडक्ट्स बना के उसका ट्रेडमार्क्स एंड पेटेंट फाइल कर दिया वर्ल्ड वाइड। नाउ दे आर रनिंग सम कार्स बेस्ड ऑन दैट इंजिन्स, जो एक्चुअली राजकोट की प्रोडक्ट है। अब राजकोट के वो फैमिली को पूछा गया कि यार आपको पता है कि जर्मनी के में आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी को लेके वो कार भाग रही है, दौड़ रही है, ठीक है? तो अगर आपने जो रजिस्टर्ड किया होता ट्रेडमार्क और पेटेंट, सो दैट यू कैन गेट रॉयल्टी फ्रॉम दैट योर इनोवेशन। और आंसर क्या मिला? सर हमें उसका पढ़ा नहीं, बस हम बिजनेस करना चाहते। सी, बट why you need to file some patent? That is a smart business actually. If you file or if you register your product, that is a smart business. वो घर पे बैठे बैठे कमाओगे आप। एक बार इनोवेशन कर दो, फिर लोग खरीदने आएंगे, घर बैठे बैठे अकाउंट में आपके रुपए मिल जाएंगे, रॉयल्टी जिसको बोलते, राइट? So that is the thing actually. So whatever innovation if you think, see, आपके माइंड में कोई इनोवेशन का आइडियाज भी आता है ना, दैट आइडिया यू कैन रजिस्टर। डू यू नो, आज मैंने सोच लिया कि भाई चलो मैं कुछ ऐसी सिस्टम बनाऊंगा कि जिससे नॉइस रिड्यूस हो जाए। लेट्स से कि बहुत बार मुझे भी ऐसे आइडियाज आते रहते। लेट्स से कि नवरात्रि में 12 बजे के बाद लाउड स्पीकर्स अलाउड नहीं होते, राइट? 9 दिन की नवरात्रि में 12 बजे के बाद लाउड स्पीकर अलाउड नहीं होते। यू जस्ट create such kind of innovations and create hardware that can sucks your voice also, right? So ऐसा innovation का idea भी आया है, तो you can put and you can file patents also, right? बहुत लोग ऐसे पेटेंट भी करते हैं कि सर wait, yeah, I'm having number of Heli, yes, basically two, and some more that I'm going to file. One for the forensic subject, and secondary is machinery. Okay. For the defense, right? So you can put your ideas also. You can file patent against your idea also, right? So very important thing. Is it clear all? सी बहुत लोग अभी क्या क्या कर रहे हैं पता है सी पॉल्यूशन इज अ वेरी हाईली कंसर्न इन इंडिया हाईली कंसर्न इन इंडिया सो वो लोग सिर्फ आइडिया डाल देते हैं कि यार मैं कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को कैसे रिड्यूस करूंगा पॉल्यूशन में से कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड को कैसे डिफर करूंगा चलिए अब आपका क्या काम होगा एज अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर गाइस तो आप कुछ डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में कर दो सी करंटली आई केम टू नो इन DAIICT धीरूभाई अंबानी इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी गांधीनगर दे जस्ट पुट वन आइडिया सर मैं क्या करूंगा ट्रीज ट्रीज होते हैं उसके ट्रंक्स पे मेरा डिजिटल मशीन डिप्लॉय कर दूंगा और वो रात को कितना कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड डालता है सुबह कितना ऑक्सीजन डालता है आई वुड लाइक टू चेक तो फॉर मेजरमेंट पर्पस उन्होंने कुछ ऐसा मशीनरी डिप्लॉय कर दिया और अलग अलग ट्रीज लेट से बनियन ट्री है नीम ट्री है मैंगो ट्री है सो वो ट्रीज पे वो जस्ट मेजरमेंट पर्पस उन्होंने ऐसा कर दिया एंड डिजिटली इंडिकेशन थ्रू IoT उन्होंने कर दिया अब वो आइडिया उनका रजिस्टर्ड हो चुका फाइल हो चुका नाउ दे गॉट पेटेंटेड क्लियर सो कोई भी आइडिया आप करते हो उसको रजिस्टर्ड करो फाइल करो एंड यू जस्ट वर्क अब एक और चीज आपको बता देता हूँ वंस यू रजिस्टर्ड योर आइडियाज वो आइडिया रजिस्टर्ड करने के बाद 1 ईयर के अंदर आपके प्रोटोटाइप में काम करना स्टार्ट करके उनको डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करके दिखा देना पड़ता है 1 ईयर के अंदर सपोज आज की तारीख में मेरे को कुछ आइडिया आया कि आई विल मेजर कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड चलिए कोरोना का ही एग्जांपल ले लेते कि आई विल मेजर इन द एयर कितने कोरोना के सेल्स है राइट एंड दैट काइंड ऑफ मशीन आई विल क्रिएट मैंने आइडिया रजिस्टर्ड कर दिया और वो पेटेंटेड होने के लिए चला गया अब मुझे पेटेंट कब मिलेगी आइडिया रजिस्टर्ड करने के बाद 1 ईयर के अंदर मैं प्रोटोटाइप पे वर्कआउट करके उनको दिखा दूं और प्रूफ कर दूं कि वी विल क्रिएट सच काइंड ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर एंड हार्डवेयर which will indicate the measurement of the particular cells of corona availability of corona right so that I can get patent is it clear so ऐसा नहीं कि आइडिया रजिस्टर्ड करके भाग गए आइडिया रजिस्टर्ड करके आपको वो चेक करना है 1 ईयर के अंदर अदरवाइज वो आइडिया कोई और लेके जा सकता है और आइडिया रजिस्टर्ड करने के बाद if you are unable to produce some product then they will refuse your registration right request फिर वही आइडिया पे कोई और वर्कआउट कर सकता है so I can say this kind of thing is very important property intangible property for you guys सी इंडिया में ये बहुत कम रेशियो है कि लोग जानते कि यार व्हाट वी नीड टू रजिस्टर राइट और बाहर छोटी छोटी चाइना में ऐसा रेशियो बहुत है स्टूडेंट्स लोग कुछ भी इनोवेशन कर देते उसका पेटेंट ले लेते राइट सो दैट यू शुड टेक केयर लेट्स मूव हाउ टू गेट पेटेंट इन्वेंटर मेक्स द इन्वेंशन पेटेंट अटर्नी राइट राइट्स पेटेंट एप्लीकेशन सो ये मैंने मेथड बताया कि हाउ टू गेट अ पेटेंट्स so there is some methods you can follow and patent filing is also online thing Sheena is asking an individual can file unlimited number of patents yes Sheena you can file unlimited patents for your entire life see what companies are doing they are they forced to do some work with their employees they come up with some good innovations and they registered. लेट्स से हम क्यों बोलते हैं कि मर्सिडीज के पास इंजन क्वालिटी बढ़िया है, ऑडी के पास इंजन क्वालिटी बढ़िया है? क्या उसके सीईओ ने काम किया होगा? नहीं, उनके एम्प्लॉइज ने काम किया, जिसने अच्छा वाला इंजन प्रोड्यूस किया, लेकिन प्रोडक्ट रजिस्टर्ड किसके नाम पे हुआ? मर्सिडीज के नाम पे, ऑडी के नाम पे, राइट? सो दैट काइंड ऑफ थिंग आल्सो यू शुड। और जो कंपनी के पास अच्छी अच्छी, जैसे फार्मेसी में बहुत होता है, अब देखिए ये कोरोना का जो भी मेडिसिन या वैक्सीन ढूंढ लेगा उसके नाम पे पेटेंट हो जाएगा। एंड डू यू नो फ्रॉम द जनवरी, फ्रॉम द मंथ ऑफ जनवरी 2020 से लेके अभी तक कोरोना के लिए पेटेंट रजिस्टर करने वालों की एप्लीकेशन बहुत सारी बढ़ गई। मतलब छोटे छोटे रीजन से भी लोग कुछ ना कुछ रिसर्च करके अपने अपने लिए पेटेंट रजिस्टर करने के लिए एप्लीकेशन कर देते। I know from Gujarat also, from Jamnagar got one applications for patent, right? From Ahmedabad some doctors has applied for patents also. हाँ, वो टाइम लेगा, उनको डिफेंस करना पड़ेगा अपना पेटेंट इंटरव्यू पैनल के सामने कि भाई क्या किया है एंड व्हाट इज द इनोवेशन हियर, राइट? एंड वही मैं आपको आज बताने वाला हूँ कि आपके लिए भी ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी है जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने किया है थ्रू SSIP थ्रू, राइट? सो यू कैन रजिस्टर योरसेल्फ, you can put some ideas over there, government will raise some fund for you guys, and you can contribute towards your countries, you can file your own patents. Sina, am I answered your question? Right, yeah, thanks. So terms of patents, the term of every patent shall be 20 years, 20 साल के लिए होगा from the date of filing, आप जब से फाइल करते हो, and renewal fees should be paid at every respective years if you want to see। बहुत सारे, do you know ये जो हम हाथ में घुमाते थे, वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, वो एक छोटा खिलौना आया था जो हाथ में घुमाते थे हम, घुमाते रहते हैं, अभी 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 वो इंट्रोड्यूस्ड हुआ है, चाइना से आया है, राइट? उसका नाम मैं भूल गया, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, स्पिनर, स्पिनर, हाँ स्पिनर, राइट? वैश्वरी, स्पिनर, राइट? सो वो स्पिनर एक्चुअली में आया है इनोवेशन फ्रॉम द यूएसए। किसी ने उसका पेटेंट फाइल किया होगा, लेकिन उसने पेटेंट फाइल करने के लिए, फाइल करने के बाद कोई भी कॉमर्शलाइज पर्पस उसका यूज नहीं किया, राइट? 20 साल बीत गए, 20 साल के बाद चाइना वालों ने उसका पेटेंट ही ले लिया, आई मीन पेटेंट नहीं, मतलब वो आइडिया लेके अपना खुद का एक खिलौना बना के वर्ल्ड वाइड लोगों के सामने रख दिया। अगर अब वो अब बार बार इसको रिन्यू करते रहेंगे, सो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट प्रोडक्ट फ्रॉम द चाइना, दैट्स इट, राइट? सो वो लोग बोलते हैं कि स्पिनर यूज करने से मेडिटेशन होता है या फिर एक्यूपंक्चर फीलिंग आती है, राइट? पेटेंट करने के बाद यू शुड डिफेंस। सो हमारे यहाँ पे मुंबई पे है, कोलकाता में है, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया ऑफिस कहाँ पे, वहां पे जाके इंटरव्यू देना पड़ता है। इंटरव्यूज काइंड ऑफ, मतलब जैसे पीएचडी के लिए डिफेंस करते हो उसके ऐसे ही पेटेंट के लिए डिफेंस करना पड़ता है। वंस यू गॉट क्वालिफाइड देन यू कैन गेट पेटेंट। ओके, बहुत बड़ा पैनल होता है फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, और अलग अलग क्वेश्चंस पूछते रहते हैं वो लोग, बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट लेवल का होता है, मतलब बेस्ड ऑन योर इनोवेशन की हाउ यू डिफेंस योर इनोवेशन एंड हाउ यू आर प्रूविंग दैट दैट इज the real innovation that is required for our world, right? So patent office, Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, you should take care of the again very important keyword, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. Halley has asked some questions, sir, can I put my own innovation in the worldwide? Yes, you can put, you can visit this WIPO website and you can get number of uh, ideas, I mean how to file patents for worldwide. And in India also you can file patents. There is one website, Intellectual Property for India, right? IPR India. So go through and visit that website. You can find किसके किसके मतलब कितने इनोवेटिव आइडिया है जो वो लोग पब्लिश करना चाहते हैं इन वेबसाइट, दैट यू कैन आल्सो फाइंड। बहुत सारे ऐसे आइडियाज भी है जो पब्लिश नहीं होते लेकिन पेटेंटेड होते, राइट। इस्टेब्लिश, ओके, ये आप पढ़ लीजिएगा। फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, माइंड इज नेवर अ प्रॉब्लम, माइंडसेट इज प्रॉब्लम। सो आईपी कल्चर वही है यार, मैंने ढूंढ लिया क्या फर्क पड़ता है, लेकिन वो आपका इनोवेशन आपके लिए बहुत सारी अर्निंग करा सकता है। हाँ, मेक श्योर। सो आईपीआर मैंने तो एक ही यार के सेशन में खत्म किया, बट गाइस, if you are really interested, please visit SSIP website also, government of India startup websites also. You can visit our intellectual property right website also. You just learn, find some procedures and follow the instructions. You can file your own copyright, trademark and patents. Now this is an advertisement. Government of India has initiated some activities for to fight against COVID-19. Student Open Innovation Challenge. See innovation, huh? So you can register, visit this website. Last date is 30th April 2020, and seeds grant up to 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs का project मिल सकता है. Okay, and you can get online real time mentoring, and you can visit PMO website also, where you can find number of uh, uh, innovation challenges they are inviting for to help government of India, right guys? So I am expecting register here and go ahead with your good innovations. See, ड्रीम देखना, सोचना कोई भी गुना नहीं है गाइस। सो आप सोचिए, जितना सोच सकते हो, काम कीजिए, मेक सम प्रोडक्ट। you should work based on your you should create some product, right? Productivity पे focus करो। that is a real time engineer in this era, guys. So is there any question regarding this? Any question so far, guys? So ये फिर बाद में डिस्कस करते हैं some questions. Now this is homework for you guys. जो ऑनलाइन 2, 3 and 4 सेशन का समरी है, you can capture screenshot, right? You have to do, and we have already discussed assignment number 4, sorry 5. So go through with it, right? And these are some resources. Here I am concluding unit number 5, dear all. If you find any questions, please let me know. Any queries, let us know. You can drop a mail to me as well as Professor Kishan Makadia sir, right? We'll definitely get back to you on this. So here I'm concluding unit number 5. In next lecture we will start forensics, but we'll see some practical also. Okay. Now I'm diverting my 1 minute. Now your next session will be starting. So over to Happy Chapla, ma'am. Wait. Guys, any doubt? Please drop a message, sir. No doubts or any questions, let me know. You are having 1 minute. Please, guys, fast. Or say thank you to me. I have done with unit 5. No doubt. Okay. I have completed unit 5, guys. Please read unit 5. I already shared assignment number 5 with answers. Okay. Assignment number 5 with answers, so you can go through with assignment number 5 also. See this assignment that I already shared, right? So please go through with this. सारे आंसर इसमें है, राइट? ओके, सो एक बार इसको गो थ्रू करिए एग्जाम के लिए, वेरी IMP थिंग, राइट? If you are having any doubts, let me know. Catch you soon at maybe 11:30, right? Next lecture of cybersecurity. Thank you so much. Over to you, Happy Chapla ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you able to share your screen?
Yes, sir. I'm
Are you
able.
able to?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
I'll
Okay,
use
so
it.
I'm disconnecting
Okay.
this. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Okay, am I audible, everyone? Good morning to everyone. Okay, so let's revise small things. Okay. Now, in the last lecture, we are completed with the design goals of code generation phase. So there are 7 major design issues of target management or target code generation phase, right? So then the next one is a flow graph. What is the flow graph? Yes, a small questionnaire sections we have. So let's start with that. First question, what is a flow graph, right? Then we'll move to the next one. Okay, let's see how many of you can able to answer the question. What is flow graph? Okay, just give me the answer. What is a flow graph? Okay. No one is able to answer my question? Or you require small hint? Flow of graph. Okay. It contains the flow of control information for the set of basic block. Yes. Yes, Anjali. Good. Then, is there anyone who wants to write the answer of question? What is a flow graph? Can I say a graphical representation of the flow of my data? Yes, a graphical representation of the flow of my data is also known as the flow graph. Now, a second question. What is basic block? What is the basic block? Or what is the concept of basic block? Why we require a basic block in our section of code generation piece? Dividing a program into independent blocks. Yes, very good. Okay. Next answer. Anjali. If you know the answer, I'll wait for you. Okay, yes, yes. Basic block is a set of statement. Yes, to optimize them individually, we divide them. Okay, yes, okay, good. So I think you are very much aware with the concept of basic block as well as the data flow. Okay, Now partition of basic block, right? So we have three major rules for the partition of our basic block, right? So the first one is how can you decide the leader of your block? That the major concern, the first statement is always a leader. The second concern is any statement that is a target of a conditional or unconditional go to, right? That is also one type of leader. Then the third condition, that any statement that immediately follows a go to or a conditional go to statement is also a leader. Now, what is the second one? What is the second one? For each leader, its a basic block consists of the leader and all the statements up to the that part, but not including the next leader of the second block, right? So you can divide your program likewise. The input is always a sequence of three address statement and output is a list of basic blocks which will contain the independent statements of group. Okay, yes, so we already read in our last lecture. Okay, example number 1, example number 2 also. Now transformations on a basic block, that you can improve the quality using this two methodologies. So first one is a structure preserving transformations. So first one, that is a common sub-expression elimination, that code elimination, renaming the temporary variables, as well as interchange of two independent adjacent statement, right? Okay. Now the second one, that is the algebraic transformation, right? Now what is algebraic transformations? So as we all are aware with that, with the concept, something like if you add the values with a 0, or you can minus the value or variable with the 0, then the variable itself is the answer, right? So that type of concepts or the type of statements you can replace with some another variable, right? Or you can eliminate from your given code. Okay, so we can check over here that T1 is equals to A minus A, T2 equals to B plus T2, and the T3 equals to 2 multiplied by T3, right? Now the transformations is something like if I'll replace my A minus A with the 0, then it is already okay with the concept, right? Why? Because this is nothing but you can say a copy propagation or a value propagation, that you just need to replace your variable with some values, right? Why? Because the if my A is equals to 10, then 10 minus 10 answer is always a 0, right? So instead of wasting a time in A minus A, or instead of every time retrieving a value of A from the symbol table as well as the from the location itself, and minus with the same variable and storing into another variable is the time consuming process, right? So instead of that, I'll suggest that if you can replace the T1 is equals to with the 0 value, then it is okay for my code, right? Now T2 equals to B. Now why it is not B plus T1? Because my T1 is already 0. So there is no any requirement to plus with the value, right? So the addition operation time is also eliminated. Okay, and the last one, that is T3 is equals to T2 or maybe 2 multiplied with T2, right? So T2 is always dependent on the value of B only. Why? Because the T1 is always a 0, right? Okay. So now there is one more example with the assignment operation that might be translated into three address code sequence, something like A minus B is stored into T. Now the second one, that is A minus C will stored into U. So now you can directly communicate that T plus U as well as that V plus U stored into the D, right? So that type of sequence you may generate, and how many you require that first of all you just need to divide the code, and likewise you need to generate the assembly level code, and then you can decide how many registers you want to use in this code. Okay. It is shifted by 1 so that it's equal to multiplied by T2 only if T2 is in the binary form. T2, okay, Heli, your question is T2 is shifted by 1 so that it's equal to multiplied by T2. Yes. Multiplied with 2 only, right? Yes, COA concept over here. I think you are aware with that, so I skipped it. That T2, if I'll give the left shift with 1, then it will multiply with 2. And if I'll give the right shift with 1, then it will give the output with divided by 2 only. Okay. Yeah, so multiplied with 2. Okay. So the register and the address descriptor. Right now, what is the actual meaning? That how can you give the register's description or register's address description, right? So the register descriptors show that initially all the registers are empty, right? After completion of the first operation, you can say that now some register may be used for a while, and you can say that this many or maybe one or two registers are going to be used in my program after completion of first statement, right? So something like that, as well as the address descriptor store the location where the current value of the name can be found at the runtime. Same like if you want to debug or if you want to compile your program in a C language, that at the time of compilation process or at the time of debugging process, every time you just need to press the one key and your one line will be executed, then the second line, then the third line. And after or at the time of debugging process, if you take your mouse pointer at the variable, then it will show the value of your variable. Same like that, this one will work, that the current value of your variable is stored at the or as the retrieving at the runtime. That is the address descriptor, right? Okay. Then the register allocation and assignment, right? So we have some type of strategies to allocate the register or to assign the value into your register, right? So the first one, that is a global register allocation. Second one, that is a usage count. Third one, register assignment for the outer loop concept, and the register allocation for the graph coloring. Okay. So let's start with the first one, that is global register allocation. Now, what is the global register allocation? Okay, so global register allocation is something you can store the most frequent used variable in a fixed register, right? Throughout the loop, right? Why? Because every time you just need to replace the value in one more register, and every time identify that now my new value of same variable will be stored into R2. Next time my same variable's new value will be stored into the R3. It is too difficult for compiler as well as a person also, right? So in place of that, you can store a same variable's value in the same register, right? So the throughout the loop, okay. And then the outer loop, if you want to use your variable, then you can store into the different register also. Okay, now the second one, that is a some fixed number of global register to hold the most active values each in the inner loop, right? Now, what is the meaning of this? Now, if I have some fixed number, that my A is every time with the assigned with the value 10 only throughout the code, right? So now I'll use one global register for that fixed value throughout my program, right? And if you want to use that variable or if you want to access that variable, then you can directly use that global register for the every operation. Okay. Now the one more example is that Then if like a C or a Bliss program, if you can do the register allocation by using the register declaration process, then you just need to keep a certain values in the register, right? Why? For the duration of the procedures only, right? Why? Because whenever you require more register, right, at that time the unnecessary registers will be empty. Okay, so you can reuse those variables or those registers to store the new values at the runtime. Why? Because in the C program, at the running process, if you want to store a new value in the new registers, at that time you just need to require some variables value to store the your previous pre-registers to storing the new values. Okay. Okay. Now the second one, that is the usage count, right? Now what is the usage count? The usage count is count for the use of some variable X in some registers used in any basic block. Now it will suggest you that if you want to use the X variable throughout your one basic block as well as one another basic blocks also, right? So at that time you just need to give some confirmation that my X is alive also for the basic block B1 as well as it will live for the basic block B2 also, right? Why? Because you just need to reflect the new updated value in the another block, right? So at that time you just need to oh, count the total number of usage values. Okay, so the usage count gives the idea about how many units of host can be saved by selecting a specific variable for a global register location. Now, if you want to store the value X in the global register, that means the value of your X is must be used in one another basic block also, right? So if you don't want to use in another basic block and still you are storing the value of X into the global register, then there is a vesting of your major global registers. Okay, so that type of precautions you require when you want to count the usage of your variable. So that approximate formula for the usage count for loop L in some basic block B can give you a process something like sigma of use of x comma b plus 2 into live x comma b. Now what is the x comma b of use? It will show that the number of times x used into a b block b, right, prior to any definition of x, right, that irrespective of number of operations. Okay, now the second one, that is live x comma b equals to 1. Okay, it will return you 1. When it will return you 1, where your x is alive for the exit from b. Now x is exit from basic block b and x wants to pass the value in a basic block b, right? At that time it is a live variable, so the value of x the value of live x comma b is always return 1. And if my x is not replaced or not going to be used in my basic block b, that at that time your return value of live x comma b is always 0. So we need to compute this for each block. Yes, yes, Ali, for the each block. Why? Because it is required for the register purpose only, that we have right now we have more registers or more freedom to use any type of registers for my compiler. But in our order time, when we will say that 8084 or 8085, at that time we don't have more registers to store the values. A fixed number of registers we can use for our program, like 4 or 5 registers at most, and 2 to 3 for the global register, right? So at that time we require to count the number usage count for the every block. Okay, so there were limited registers at the time of 808580. Yes, you can say that COA, or maybe in a system programming. I guess you are not aware with that. Okay, so in that type of programming, assembly level code, AREG, BREG, CREG, or DREG, something like register R0, R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5 only for the customized program, and some registers are used for the global purpose, right? So that type of different types of registers we have, and that type of classification at that time we have at the time of our 8085 or 8086. Okay, so some limited type of registers we have. I have studied system software. Okay, so I think you so that you are aware with that type of concepts. Okay. Now the register assignment for the outer loop. Now how can you assign a outer loop register, right? So we have a something like inner loop is L2, outer loop is my L1. So first of all, every time my inner loop L2 will run, and then my L1 will run, right? Because it will follow the stack concept, and stack will always run something like a last in, first out, right? So that type of concept is also available over here, that we just need to adapt a register assignment for the outer loop purpose, right? That how many criteria we require for the uh, assignment for outer loop purpose. So the first one, that is, if my A is allocated in L2, then it should not be allocated in L1 minus L2, right? L1 or L2. If you will allocate the A in an inner loop, then you cannot use it for the L1. Okay, you cannot allocate. Okay, the allocation of variable itself over here, right? And according to that variables, we can give the register, or we can assign the register to every variable. Now, if A is allocated in outer loop L1, then it is not allocated in L2. Then also, the storing of A on entrance of L2 and a load of A while leaving the L2, right? So when it will leave the L2 inner loop and it will compute it for the outer loop L1, right? At that time, we can allocate the value, but we cannot allocate to separate it to the L2. Okay. And the last one, that if my A is allocated in L2 and not in L1, then loading process of A on the entrance of L2 and store A on exit from L2, right? So whenever we are entering in the L2, as well as whenever we are exit from the L2, at that time we can load or we can store the value in A, but we cannot store or we cannot load the value in L1 for the particular variable A. Okay. Now, what is the register allocation for graph coloring? It will showing different colors according to your some concepts, right? That working the graph coloring works in a two passes. The working is as given below. So the first one, that is first pass, the specific machine instruction is selected for register allocation, right? So for some machine instructions are selected out of all the instructions. For each variable, a symbolic register is allocated. So for the in a pass number 1, you can just give the every symbolic register to the every variable, right? So now, right now we are in the pass 1 process. Okay, what is the pass 1 and what is the pass 2 is a concept of assembly level language, that some concepts are always running in the pass 1, and the declaration or maybe some sort of value load and store process are going in the first pass, and then we are coming with the second pass. In that pass, we can create our graph also, we can complete our major operation like a loop concept, or loop concepts are there, give a completely incomplete instruction using the backfetching methodologies are also in the second pass, as well as some major concepts related with the symbol table is also there in your pass 1 and pass 2. Right? So right now we are not very much concerned with the pass 1 and working of pass 1 and pass 2 of your assembly level language. So don't worry about that. It is just for your information only. Okay. Now the fourth one point, that is when a graph coloring technique is applied for the register interface graph using a K color. Now what is a K color? K color, that means some value to color your register. Okay, that type of concepts are there. So our major concern is this, that in graph coloring technique, no two adjacent nodes can have the same color, right? So next to each other node will always denote with the different color. Hence in register interference, a graph using such graph coloring principle, each node, actually a node means a variable, right, is assigned the symbolic register, so that no any two symbolic registers can interfere with each other with the assigned physical registers, right? Now according to your graph coloring method, according to your previous methodology, that is the outer loop concept and the usage of count as well, your the different types of registers are allocated physical registers, right, assigned or allocated to your variable, right? So there is some concepts like if we have a green color, then I just need to use a value. Then if I have a red color, then I can use with a different concept also. Okay, so that type of concepts are there. Now the DEG representation for the basic blocks. Okay, before go with that new concept, just let me know that if you have any doubt, then just ask me. I'll wait for a 5 minute. If you have any doubt, then let me know. Please explain through this boring story with example. This is only for the theory concept. There is no any actual example in this, so I'm okay with the theory concept only. Okay, the next topic is also, you can say, the representation of DEG with the example. Okay, we need to mug up for the exam. I cannot say that you just need to mug up with this, but you just need to aware with the concept of register allocation and assignment. This is not for the mug up process, but this is the actual thing that how your compiler will work at the backend. And for the, you can say that a major concern of our target level code is this only, that how much time or how much efficiency it will require to generate the efficient code in a seconds. Okay, so whenever you run your program, so this would be asked as a theory concept only, and we will not be implementing it on an example in the exam. Yes, yes, I do. This is only for the theory concept only. So right now we don't have any example. So maybe in a further study of the compiler, it may be asked, or it may be in a more before it. Okay. So except Hilly, is there any question? Other students? No, ma'am. Okay. Let's go with the second concept. That is the DEG representation for basic blocks. Okay, so the first thing, that how can you design a DAG for your basic block, right? So let's start with the first one. Leaves are labeled by unique identifiers, either variable names or a constant. Okay, the second one, that is interior nodes are labeled by an operator symbol. Okay. Okay, as we have discussed in our session also, that how many methodologies are there to generate a DAG from the given question. Okay, so the first one, a very first one, that is the why we require a directed acyclic graph for my basic block. So if you will say that first of all I'll generate a basic block and then I'll show the tree address code methodology, right? Or you can say the directed acyclic graph for my basic block. So at that time of process, you can say that if I want to generate a DAG for the question, T1 equals to A plus B, T2 is equals to C plus D, right? So this is the tree address code generation technique. But in our chapter, we just require a value something like A plus B minus C plus D only, right? So if I have a tree address code and if I have one basic block, and according to my basic block, how can I generate the DAG from that tree address code generation technique? I think you all are aware with this concept, that using only one operation, you can easily generate a DAG from this string. But using this tree address type code, you can a little bit confused, right? But it is the same like our concept, that every time a syntax tree or a graph maybe contain a root node as well as the intermediate node are always the operators, and leaf nodes are always a operand for my tree. Why? Because the every syntax tree require uh, one operator. Either it is arithmetical or logical, or it may be equal to sign only, right? Or it may be you can say unary operator also. Okay. So I think you all are aware with that concept, which we have studied in our chapter number 4. Okay, the forms of intermediate code generation techniques. Okay, so right now we are concerned with the how can you generate a DAG from the basic block. Okay, so let's take one example, that is T1 equals to 4 into I, right? So I think you all are aware with the same example, that how can you divide this example in your basic block also, right? Okay, so I'll start with the direct implementation of my DAG. Okay, so let's start with the very first one. That statement by statement, you just need to apply your rule only. There is no major concern with the new different types of funda, right? Same fundamentals implemented over here only. That statement by statement, you just need to identify that which one is my operators and which are my operands, right? So if I'll start with the T1, that T1 equals to 4 into I. So star is the root node and 4 and I is the leaf node. Both are in my leaf node, right? Now the T2 equals to A of T1, right? So A of T1, right? So it will generate the T2. Okay. Now the third statement number 3, that is T3 equals to 4 into I. So now a T3, what is the T3? It is totally equal to your T1. So right now I don't require to generate it one more time, right? So I'll directly assign my T3 equals to T1. Okay. So now statement number 4 over here, that B of T3. So now T3 is over here. So I can directly give a notation with the A only. sorry, I'll give the notation with the directly with the B only. That B of T4 is always answer of 4 multiplied by I. Okay. And the statement number 5, T5 equals to T2 into T4. So now T2 into T4 is multiplied and the answer is always in the T5. Okay. Now, so the statement number 6, that is T6 equals to variable PROD plus T5. So can I say that add with PROD and the output is always stored into T6, right? Now statement number 7. So statement number 7 is always give the answer TD equals to PROD variable, right? So the answer of T6 is always transferred into PROD, right? So I can directly optimize my code and it will something like I can give same notation with the same operation, that T6 comma PROD. Both will return a value with the PROD plus the answer of T5. Okay. Now the statement number 8, that is T7 equals to I plus 1. So in a previous step, I have a value of I. So I can directly use the value of I over here, add with one variable, and it will hello, am I audible? Okay. So one more time, just I'll go through with the slides only. And if you have any doubt, then just let me know. Okay. I'll give you 5 minutes. Then you just need to draw the DAG for yourself, okay, without using this PPT. Okay, I'll just give you the question only. Okay, go through it and I will give you 5 minutes and then you just need to draw by yourself. Okay, now if you have any doubt, then just let me know. Okay, now the question is saying you just need to draw the answer or draw the value or draw the directed acyclic graph for the given example, right? So you just have a 5 minutes for completion of this question, okay? Just draw back with after the 5 minutes, right? So if you have any doubt, just let me know. Okay, this is the assignment question, huh? So everyone just draw it by yourself. Okay, I know how many of you are right now available in my lecture. So I want the answer from everyone. Okay. Okay. Anjali, Deep, Harsh, Haley, Hiral, Danish, Kishan, Mehul, Nancy, Parth, Rutvik, Veshwari, and Yatri. Okay. Just draw it, everyone. Okay, how many of you are completed with this? If you are done with this, just write down in the question section. Yes, Danish, are you completed with this? Okay, yes. Good. So fast. Okay. So it is also important for the concept of how to draw the directed acyclic graph from the given string as well as from the given tree address code also. Okay. So this one is the last topic of your chapter, and now we are completed with the compiler design, the last chapter also. So the next session is going to be taken by Krishna ma'am, and Krishna ma'am will revise the chapter of code optimization, as well as if you have any doubt in this chapter, then it is also helpful for your examination purpose, right? One more topic is remaining, which we'll cover in the next lecture at the 12:30 to 1:30, right? Okay. I think now you all are completed with this. Yes or no? Just let me know so that I can proceed with the next point. Okay, yes. Anjali, done. Okay, good. Okay, Yatri, good. Okay, Deep, done. Rutvik, done. Yes, I'm waiting for other responses. Be fast. Okay, is there anyone who don't know how to draw this? I think one more is the Hiral Mushroom, as well as a new person, that is Nehal Waghani. Okay, so I think all are completed with this. Okay, yes, Rutvik is also completed with this. Okay, so let's move to the applications of directed acyclic graph, right? Now, the first application that you can detect the common sub expressions right? Second one, that is determine that which identifiers have their values used in the block, right? That which identifier that means a variable only, right? So that you can identify that how many variables have their own value, which will going to be used in a one block as well as in the other block also, right? And the third point, we can determine which statements computes the value that could be used outside the block also, right? So there is some concept which block or within the block, right, or without block. So same like in loop invariant, there is some concepts like invariant within the block, right? So some variables, those variables you don't want to use in a basic block, and you can only use it in the outer block. Okay, so that type of concepts is also there. Okay, so up till now, is there any doubt? I'll just revise it concept one more time. Don't worry, I'm not going more deeper way. So I'll just summarize the session. So we'll start with this concept, that algebraic transformations, same concept like your code optimization, algebraic transformations. Okay, algebraic simplifications, you can see the example that how can you describe or how can you imagine that how many registers you required for your example, or what is the address descriptors, that which value will be will going to be stored in a which register, right? Now the register allocation assignment, that we have different types of strategies. Using that strategies, program should reside in registers as well as which registers with each value should reside. That in in every registers, how many values or which values will be going to store in your register, particular register, right? So the first one, that is a global register allocation, usage count, register assignment for the outer loop, as well as the register allocation for graph coloring. The next concept that we are completed, that a DAG representation of basic block, right? So the concept is something like statement by statement. If you draw the DAG, then the root or intermediate nodes are always operators, and the leaf nodes are always the operand, or you can say the values. Okay. So if there is any concept, something like a same operation, then you can use the previous ones. Okay. So this is the final DAG for the given example. Okay. So over here, I'm concluding the chapter number 7, that is code generation. Okay, so starting from the first, the major concern is the issue of designing of generation. There is a major 7 issues are there. Then what is the fluid graph? What is the basic block? How can you draw the basic block in a control graph using the graphical representation? How can you partition your code into the basic blocks? That is the important question for your examination purpose. That write down the algorithm and explain with a small example, right? So you just need to write down the every conditions or every step, which is step number 1 as well as step number 2. What is the input and what is the output? Output, right? So which statements are going to be a leader, and how many basic blocks are there in your question? Example number 2, you can take any example, right? Then the transformations on a basic block, that how can you transform your basic block to improve the quality of your target level code? So there is a major 4 concern of a structure preserving transformation, as well as one more algebraic transformation, register location assignment process, as well as a DAG representation using the basic block, right? And the application of DAG. Okay, so here I am conclude with the chapter. So the next session will be starting at the 11:30. right? So be ready with that. Two more lectures today itself. That one is a cyber security, 11:30 to 12:30, and next one that is a 12:30 to 1:30. Okay. So stay at your home, stay safe, and be ready for the next lectures. Okay. So one more time, if you have any doubt, just let me know, and if you have no doubt, then also let me know so that I can conclude with the session. Okay, am I audible? Okay, so is there any doubt? No, ma'am. Okay, so in the next lecture, if you have any doubt, we'll solve your doubt as well as we'll revise some important concept related with your examination. Okay, so be ready with that. And if you have any doubt, you can ask in a question panel also. Okay, so we'll resolve your doubt as well as we'll revise, and some new concepts are there for your related with your examination purpose in the next upcoming sessions, right? At 12:30 to 1:30. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone.